Welcome to today's masterclass. My name is Jose Rivera, and I'm the CEO of CSIA. I will be your host today. In case you don't know about CSIA, we are a global, non-profit trade association with over 500 member companies in 35 countries. For system integration members, the CSIA Best Practices Manual and CSIA certification are some of the more popular member benefits, but they also enjoy a variety of others, including professional development, learning from their peers, and access to professional service experts, including insurance, financial, and legal, who understand the system integrator's unique business needs. For partner members, CSIA offers an ecosystem to grow their system integration programs, understand their customer pain points, monitor industry trends, and share their thought leadership. With thousands of qualified integrators and suppliers, the CSIA Industrial Automation Exchange helps system integrators, industry suppliers, and manufacturers connect and do business. For system integrators and partners, it provides a platform to support your content and search engine optimization marketing efforts, positioning yourself as a thought leader and nurturing prospect during the complicated buyer's journey. Here's the great news. We're now halfway through the year, and both membership dues and exchange profile updates are prorated, which is just a fancy way of saying that they're half off. We have put together a first-timer package for companies that join in July and August that includes some new member benefits, including an EPUB and new products and services called Innovation for Integration. The package includes a free listing in this new EPUB, but also some other goodies to help you get your message and brand in effort of your customers. Get all the details at www.controlsys.org/shine. And at this time, I would like to introduce Ben Green, who is the National Solutions Partner Manager. He will be in the background, and he may step in when we have the Q&A portion. And the presenter, who has an enviable job, it's Ed Montgomery. He's the Food and Beverage Industry Manager for Brewing, Wine, and Spirits at Siemens. So without any further ado, Ed, the floor is yours.
Okay, welcome everybody. Let me pull up my presentation here. All right, so what I'm going to talk to you today about is, about Siemens craft brewery solutions. From Siemens, I can show you a little bit about myself. My name is Ed Montgomery. I'm, as Jose said, I'm the industry manager for Brewing, Wine, and Spirits for the United States. I've been doing breweries for probably about 25 years with Siemens. And there's my contact information. Feel free to reach out to me at any time. A little bit about the history of Siemens in the brewing industry. Siemens has a long history of innovation and automation dedicated to the brewing industry. And this is a slide here that shows Siemens having a very long history of being a reliable partner in the brewing industry. You see all the way back to the 1970s there, Siemens introduced the first PLC-based recipe-controlled automation system in a brewery. And, and all the way back to 1993, Siemens innovated their brewing solutions with the Windows operating system. And all of this goes to reliability, consistency, and quality combined are the key factors for our long-lasting, successful presence in the U.S. Today, there's thousands of breweries and certainly malt houses, distilleries, and wineries that are operating with Siemens. Okay, and we're talking about craft breweries, and I pulled this data from the Brewers Association. We all know that 2020 was kind of a mixed year with the pandemic going on, but you can see the sheer numbers of breweries here, from the microbreweries, the 1,854 microbreweries around. These are the U.S. brewery counts, all the way up, and the tap rooms, 3,471. This is a huge section of the market, and then also brew pubs. These are traditionally smaller breweries. Certainly Siemens has their big systems for the large non-craft breweries, the mega breweries of the world. But we're going to concentrate today on a lot of these smaller breweries, the smaller craft breweries. And some of the challenges within the craft brewery are time to market, when they come up with idea and how to get it out there with the quality, and and always part of their mindset is keeping the cost down, and certainly the environmental and health, safety, and security are always on the forefront. Now, some of the common concerns, as I said, I've been doing the breweries for quite a long time, and these are some of the comments that customers have when they may see me at a trade show, or attend a webinar very much like this. You see here, how do I keep the craft in craft beer if he automates? That's one of the very common concerns that comes up. And then, particular importance to the system integrator world is we don't have engineers on staff. How do we maintain such a system? And then, always highlight is how do we ensure the security of the process? When you get putting the automation system onto the internet or intranet to view your automation, how do you secure that process? And then, first and foremost here is, people will walk by the trade show booth, see all of my neat screens up there, and they'll say, we can never afford a system like that. Well, I'm here to tell you today, how we can make a very scalable and affordable system for even the very smallest of craft breweries. So some of the realities of craft breweries, are limited budgets and making great beer. You see, this is a fun group of people here. Trend is always towards many, many smaller breweries. You don't see a whole lot of big breweries being made. There are some out there, but we have many, many smaller breweries, as the numbers earlier dictated. Canning now, especially since the pandemic happened, a lot of the beers is not going out by way of the kegs and tap handles. It's going out in cans. So that's been a very large growth for the craft brewing industry, is canning. And the craft breweries, these guys make beer. They have limited knowledge of the automation or IT systems. So they're looking for, systems and partners to utilize automation within their brewery so that they're, able to realize the benefits of it, but then still leave them there making great beer. This is a concern that a lot of craft breweries have. When they make a really great beer, everybody wants it. They don't have to fight for shelf on or space on the store shelves. So all of the craft breweries, that happen to make a great beer and maybe got a good review in some of the brewing magazines, then they have unexpected growth. They need to grow overnight. I've seen some of the brewing shows where customers are going in and buying every piece of equipment at the show that they can find. And then, last on this slide here is the customers want to be in control of their own destiny, especially when it comes to automation. They don't want to buy a solution and then that solution may fit their needs, it may not, it may partially fit their needs. What's most interesting with the craft brewers is, they're a very diverse group and they want a system that meets their needs. And what meets the needs of that one brewery may or may not meet the needs of all of the extra. And then here, the extra cost of a solution from Siemens is not acceptable. Siemens does have their big automation systems. It's named Brahmat, and and that solution is world renowned. We have over 3,000 installations throughout the world, and absolutely nothing's wrong with it. But when you get into a very small craft brewery, the cost, every single cost of this solution is scrutinized to the utmost, and having a solution that's commercially sold and supported may not meet their needs. And and this is where we can really utilize some of the solutions that I'm going to talk about here. So some of our portfolio for the brewing industry. All of our automation systems today are based on what we call the TIA portal. The TIA portal is our main programming software with one common database, consistent unified operator concept, common central services, and anywhere from your HMI, your industrial PC, your controllers, distributed IO, your drives, motion control, and everything within your entire automation system is handled by the TIA portal. Whether you use the step 7 part of it to program your controllers, and a quick link over into the HMI, which I'll show you this. The quick links also over into our drives and our motion control systems. And then all part of the TIA portal is the securities fully integrated in there, safety systems. So your integrated safety systems are all built into the TIA portal. Your diagnostics, troubleshooting diagnostics are in there, as well as one thing too is our energy management. So you can take your motor control systems and switch gear directly into the control system and be able to monitor your energy consumption. So couple last slides here on the TIA portal. Let me skip over this slide here. Is the TIA portal is at the center of all of our different software. Whether our PLC programming software or HMI software. Certainly those are available separately, but you will have the TIA portal with just that module if all you want to do is program a PLC. And likewise, if you do not use our Siemens PLCs and you want to use our HMI, certainly the same with the TIA portal with the WinCC is there. But all of this is built into the TIA portal. And then you have on the outside here is all of these different products like the simulation system. It's an extra cost to the TIA portal, but it's fully integrated into that. And then when you want to go to the web and run your brewery on some other device other than your HMI, certainly we have our web system that you can buy, and it integrates very much similar to your WinCC. So you just buy the web license, and it's now part of your HMI package. And if Jose didn't tell you before, all the question and answers, just feel free to post anything in there. My counterpart Ben Green's there to answer them, and we can fill it out at the end of the session here to make sure everything's answered. So what we did with the TIA portal is we created what we call our TIA portal brewing template. And this brewing template has all of your brew house control system, all your cellar controls, everything, all of it is in a template designed for craft brewing, simplified programming based on ISA S88 batch standards, easy to use HMI. I'll show you more on that too. Multi-monitor capable, large format TVs, big screen TVs, whatnot. That's possible. And then, having the automation system, you can now assign tasks to the brewers that are more meaningful than just taking a temperature reading on a clipboard. So part of what the TIA portal brewing template is designed for, brewing and distilling template applications, based on our 35 years of brewing experience in the market. Okay, now this is a particular interest to the integrators here, is that the template uses 100% standard products, and it's fully open source, and to provide a simple, easy use, and fully scalable template for the North American craft breweries that you can maintain yourself, or you can have assistance from Siemens or other Siemens partners, integrators, or the OEMs. So within this template, all of the PLC code, all of the HMI code, all the reporting code, everything is open source. So if you like something that we did on the PLCs, but you don't happen to like what we did on the HMIs, this is fully customizable. So you can take whatever you like out of it and use it. And, some customers will use 90% of it, and some customers will use 50, and some will use maybe a couple ideas out of it. So no problem there. And then your end customers have the option to attend training and maintain the system by themselves. This is key because they don't want to, have to have an integrator come into their facilities every time they need something. So this provides the customer with a way that they can maintain the system by themselves. With Siemens, we have a free hotline. Should you need any assistance with your Siemens products, you can just call the hotline. We also have our software update service available to maintain your software with the latest technology. And then complete US-based sales, service, support, all of your brewing needs. So if you need anything, from this webinar, well, just reach out to your local Siemens person, or certainly you can contact me as well, and we can take care of all your needs. And we have all of our salesmen and distribution partners out throughout the US, pretty much everywhere. So, and then Siemens is also a major supporter of all of the worldwide brewing organizations. And, I'm the partner sponsor for the World Beer Cup and the Brewers Association. Our trade show is coming up for the Brewers Association, the Craft Brewers Conference. So, that's coming up in September in Denver. So if you wanted to attend and see the world of craft brewing, that's the best place to be. Okay, so some of the common brewhouse designs. A small brewery, is a typical 2-vessel brewery with the mash water tun and the whirlpool. And then when you get, needing a few more brews per day, why it's always helpful to have, either 4 or 5 vessel brewing systems. So what that means here is, if you have a small brew pub, you can certainly use this exact same solution on a very inexpensive basic controller, all the way up to, these are some of the largest breweries in the world up here, and up to our full, this is our Brahmat based system. So, anything in these breweries here, it's completely scalable from the simplest to the most complex brewery solution. Okay. So some of the main features of this TIA portal brewing template is it uses standardized open libraries for the TIA portal. It utilizes WinCC. Now, instead of having the HMI being based on SCADA, you can mix and match any type of HMI, whether you have SCADA panels or basic, and all of them can operate and do everything from every location that you want to. A very common practice is to put either a small panel or a basic controller out at a fermenter, and then have the SCADA in a control room. Another common practice you see more and more now is everybody wants to operate their breweries from their iPads or their tablets or even their iPhones. And certainly that's all part of WinCC's HMI system. And the standard brewing template that I created is based on a known craft brewery design. And, like I said before, it's fully open source, so you can modify what you need to as your needs require. And then should you get stuck or something not work that you're trying out, you can always go back to what's in the brewing template and start over from there. So so you're stuck, you're standardized with our set up with a standard known brewing solution. So, like I said before, be in control of your own destiny. And, there's no need to upgrade if your needs don't require that. We have some systems running on, Windows systems as far back as Windows for Workgroups. So that's quite an old system, and the customer just don't need to update it, so they don't have to. And then for the recipes, to maintain all of your formula parameters, you can use WinCC recipes, and then we have an optional links to many different common systems. Some people use simple Microsoft Excel, and other ones use more of a database, and certainly Siemens has our systems for that. So this is all designed to bring unlimited openness, scalability to meet all of your automation needs. So as we look at a small craft brewery here, I have a breakdown of costs for doing a small craft brewery project. The stuff that you buy from the PLC and HMI vendor is a minor part of the cost. Installation and commissioning, this is the wiring, running your wiring, and then your panel building. And you see here the integration piece. This is a variable piece. If you're very well versed at doing the solution, why your costs for the integration are a lot smaller. But if you're just starting out, then the costs are a lot greater. So what we've done here with this brewing template is we are helping all of the integrators, achieve, their 45% of this pie very easily and efficiently so that you can easily use our tools to go on to completing your project. So let's look at the brewing template itself here. And like that one screen before shows that, the TIA portal programming software, is just the version number, version 16 or higher, but, it's fully migratable to all of the future versions once they come out. But, you can pick any PLC that you want to. This is based on the needs of the project, which I'll show you this next. And you can pick any HMI you need to. This is, again, based on the needs of the project. And then the template includes a complete 5-vessel brew house and fermentation cellar. There's also a small distillery and small packaging line included in the template there. And then everything is fully simulated using SCL programming. And with the simulation, it's fairly detailed simulation, but if you wanted to make an exact detailed simulation, it's very easy to change the simulation to doing anything you want it to do. And again, I mentioned fully open source, so you can modify anything for your needs. And these are our open libraries, which I'll show you this here in a second. Faceplates, control modules are all part of the libraries. We use S7 graph programming for programming your recipe sequences. And then we have event-driven reporting, which I'll show you this here in a little bit. And so you can use the PLC to connect to, these are common brewing systems like orchestrated beer, vicinity brew, and there's many others, similar systems out there. But also you can connect to, this is our cloud-based computing platform, the MindSphere. So you can link all of your data information into MindSphere, put it up on the cloud so that any device anywhere in the world is able to look at the brewing data. So these are the different controllers. You go from the basic controller down here at the bottom, that's maybe a couple $100, all the way up to our advanced controller. It starts under $1,000 and goes up from there. So you have a wide range of controller options that you can use. There's software controllers, there's integrated PLCs right on the distributed controller. And then you can pick your HMI for where do you want to control your process from. Is it a SCADA system that you want with full client server capability and database, everything behind it? What's most common are the panel-based or PC-based HMIs. Those are available. And then the basic HMIs. This is just something to get the numbers out there for somebody to see. And, we have whatever location. And these, again, too, are very inexpensive. So if you wanted to do integration on a small craft brewery, you can easily grab the S7 1200 or a small S7 1500 controller and a basic panel or a small HMI panel, and you're not over a couple $1,000s of hardware, and you're able to start on integrating a brewery. Now, one thing that every brewery wants nowadays is to operate, control, and monitor your brewery from your mobile devices. There's a lot of different stories that I have over the years on, the customers that are realizing the benefits of being able to crawl under a piece of equipment with their cell phone and being able to open close valves instead of radioing up to the control room. So, all of that's included here. So, this is just a slide to show that, we can go from a very small brewing system here to a very large brewing system, all with the same system here. So then we'll look a little bit. This is the TIA portal, brewing software. So if you look at the, this is arranged in the unit concept. So here's the mill unit. Within the mill, you have your control modules. These are your valves, pumps, motors, level indicators, sensors, whatnot. And then you also have your equipment modules, which I use that equipment module folder for the simulation. And then the sequence. You'll use your sequence folder here for all of your S7 graph recipe procedures. So a little look at the simulation code. You can open up, like, this is the distillation simulation. Your if, then, else loops, are all right in there, and you can modify this to fit your needs. You can test everything and make a virtual beer. It's a dry beer, but you can make a virtual beer, on the system long before it ever hits your customer's facility. And then for the recipe programming, this is the S7 graph programming over here on the right side of the screen. And you follow this is the S88 state model, where you're starting, running, holding, aborting, stopping, completing steps are all programmed within the sequence here. So you pair that sequence with a data block, and that data block here will hold all of your recipe parameters. And this is virtually unlimited in size. It's only constrained by the amount of memory you have in your PLCs, but that's a lot bigger than anything that you could put here. So then also in the recipe parameters, I have an example here of, this is the mill unit where we're going from our silo to silo with the recipe. You can actually control the flow of the process based on a recipe parameter. So you can program your recipe here, when it says dose silo 1, that may or may not be actually the first silo in your sequence. It's just the first one that you picked in your recipe parameters. So that provides you a lot of flexibility for your brewers, that they can modify the recipe right from the parameters, and they never have to get into the controller and make changes. So on a smaller brewery, such as this small brew system here, you have your recipe, and the recipe can run for both vessels, and then you have one set of recipe parameters for it. And when you get to a bigger brewery, you can make a recipe for each piece of equipment, whether it's the mash cooker, brew kettle, lauter tun, whatnot. Make what we call a recipe unit procedure for that unit, and then link from unit to unit together, so that you have your whole recipe system. But then you'll have one set of recipe parameters for all units. So if you're making a light beer, for instance, you can have all your recipes for light beer, and then you make a dark beer, you can just use a different set of recipe parameters. Talk about a little more on scalability. This is a slide here. This is our complete PC. You can see the HDMI or display port right there with your USB connectors. This is a PLC and a PC all in one remote IO rack, so that you can just attach your IO modules to the end here, connect a monitor up there, and you're done with the whole control system. So it makes it very cost effective for craft brewery. So oh, that slide was out of place, sorry about that. But this one is showing the recipe unit procedure concept, where each unit is responsible for processing you know, the batch that's in it. So this allows you, you know, this is a 5-vessel brew house. This allows you to virtually have 5 different batches in the brew train all at one time. You know, when your brews down in the brew kettle and you know, going out from there, you can certainly start another brew in the mash cooker, and that goes towards your equipment utilization. So let's talk a little bit about the libraries for the TIA Portal Brewing Template. These 2 libraries, whether it's the basic process library or the Siemens Open Library, these are both free. They're available as downloads on the internet. No problem. Well, I also threw in down here, this is the Braumat library. This is our Siemens solution that I talked about a little bit at the beginning of the system, our seminar. But the Braumat solution is Siemens' solution for the brewing industry. And you're certainly welcome to take a look at that as well. Let me go over here. This is a slide that shows a little bit about the basic process library. You have all of your function blocks for your PLC or in the library. So if you want a valve, you just grab that function block, put it in there, and then you can use that function block 1,000 different times in your process. You know, even more, much more than that too. And then it links it directly to a faceplate on your HMI system. And to do that, what's neat is to do it using our system called CiviArc, Siemens Visualization Architect. So you're able to take your PLC program and your HMI library and use the CiviArc rules, and it creates your screens for you. So this is a huge time saver. Once you have your system identified that you want to roll with out to the brewing industry, then this can you can virtually program your entire brewery from an Excel spreadsheet, and then be able to run the CiviArc tools against that spreadsheet, and it creates all your screens, does all your programming, and you're left with a complete solution. So that's a very efficient tool. If you want to hear more about it, just let us know, and we can talk to you about the CiviArc system. And then this is just another slide on the CiviArc system, which makes for very efficient engineering. So since everything's fully linked together with the TIA portal, you can use the CiviArc tools to link everything and make your PLCs and your HMI screens for you. So if you want to use, this is a common request with all of the craft breweries, is the remote diagnostics. So knowing if you're in Colorado and your customer's in Maine, you don't want to have to go fly on an airplane every time you go check it out. So we have this WinCC Web UX, which is our web portal. So you can take whichever handheld device or even a process screen and run it on the web UX portal here, and be able to remotely diagnose and help your customers with a problem they may have. Another common concern of the craft breweries is they don't have a lot of money to invest in all the different sensors, the pH sensors and color sensors and things like that. So they may take those samples and a specific gravity sample off to the lab, and you can then take your lab readings directly on the system, and we have simple screen-based operator prompts that will prompt the brewer to go through step by step of the brewing process and input manual data. So when they input the manual data, it's tracked and trended just like a real sensor, you know, knowing that the data is coming from manual reading, but it's once it goes into the system, then you're able to, you know, not only monitor and visualize the readings, but you can also make control decisions on those readings. So that's full mix of manual operations are built into your control system. I had customers with very minimal automation, and they're doing everything manually, but entering it in. So it's making a batch report for them also, just from having a control system. So, all right. Now I'm going to jump off and look at some of the screens, you know, some of the HMI screens, and I can show you some of the details with that. So this is some of the HMI screen for our mill, and it's showing this is our running sequence, you know, that S7 graph sequence that I had running there. And you can see that it's running this step right now. You can click on this recipe parameters button and look at the recipe parameters and be able to see your recipe parameters right there on the screen. You can change anything anytime you want to. And, you know, and you can also, like I said before, stop, start, hold, abort, and even jump steps right here from your recipe screen. So a further look at it here is, you know, this is showing a faceplate. So you click on a valve, and this is your faceplate, you know, with your up, down for your open, close. And then here's manual, you know, which manual operation. You can run it from the screen here, or automatic, you can run it from the recipe. So there's your manual auto. Typically, when you run a recipe, first thing you do is grab all the devices and put them into auto. And you can see here the tags on each device shows whether it's in manual or auto. Looking further into the brew house, this is showing our lauter tun screen. You know, this is a little bit more complex process, but again, these are all the devices here. You can see that we're adding water to it, and you got your valve opened here. And certainly any colors, backgrounds, anything you want to change, you can change everything here. So none of that's locked in. And then just show you a little different faceplates. These are the faceplates from the Siemens Open Library. Again, these are, you know, fully functional faceplates. Like here's a valve. You got your name of your valve there, and open, close buttons there. So, you know, that's the Siemens Open Library faceplates. You know, to do a fermenting cellar, you know, there's a typical fermentation cellar with 8 tanks. You can view this one screen and be able to see the status of every one of the processes here. And you can actually click on different things. There's one manual entry button right there to enter in the specific gravity. So you don't have to do that you know, with an automatic instrument. So you can, you know, this is one example of a fermentation cellar. And then when you get to bigger system, this is a lot more advanced type of fermenting cellar. And you can see, again, all the same information here. It's just formatted a little bit differently. So, you know, you can take that brewing template and anything you want. And This system, I'm talking about beer, wine, and spirits, but you can use this basically for any process control application. It does not have to be a brewery. And, knowing that I like whiskey as well, here's, the same system designed for a small distillery. This is a small craft distillery. And you can pick your HMI panel for whichever size you want. Anywhere from a little 7-inch panel up to a 21-inch panel. And all of these panels also have a web interface so that you can mimic that panel directly on your cell phones. So a little bit more another look at the Siemens system for distilling. It's not doing much. The temperature's going up and down here, but so this is in the same brewing template that we have. So some of the key points of the brewing distilling template allows you to keep the craft in the craft brewing distilling, so that your resources can be used on things like sanitation and cleanliness, as opposed to writing the values down every hour or something onto a clipboard. So it enables you to increase production without adding staff. So letting the operators key in on critical manual tasks. And then, having the quality, repeatability, and consistency of automation and automating the manual tasks can, greatly benefit a craft brewery. This is one study that a customer did. It helped them reduce the energy usage because his chiller was undersized. So we just simply programmed in to cut the cooling off of some of the fermenters when he was crashing one of the fermenters, so that it wouldn't actually heat up some of the other batches. So that's kind of a unique thing that somebody did. And then, this makes the brewers' jobs a lot easier, not harder, and allows them to work smarter. And then, you can easily, expand this, create new recipes, modify your existing recipes, and try new products by just using that HMI screen that I showed you for the recipe parameters. And you don't need to call out your integrator every time you need to make a simple change. So that's a big selling point with the craft brewing guys. And then eliminates the needs for manual data collection. And then, we have automatic built-in data collection. So which I'll show you some of these in this. Okay, now looking at some of the security, certainly Siemens has a full round of anything you need with security to get your data from the plant to the operator, whether it's on a mobile device or a handheld device or fixed device. So you have a full method to do the security. Now, some of the reporting, certainly trending, production, certainly all of your trending and your data storage, you can use them on a number of different platforms. And what I showed here is this is a graph based right out of our MindSphere system, which is our cloud-based computing platform. So we're able to shove the data from the control system, that's this top one, to the cloud-based system, and you're able to view that onto a cloud-based trend here. And then these are, this is our Brahmat system. This is another way to realize some of your step reports and whatnot. So some of the level 1 reporting is just creating your trends. You can export these trends. There's a button here to just export it, and it exports it right out to your CSV file. And then you can actually get into the PLC and show the data directly out of the PLC, because some of the larger PLCs, the S7-1500, have a built-in web server right in the PLC that you can utilize to get your data to wherever it needs to go. So here's another example of reporting. This is a live look at the batch report over here on the left side of the screen. This is your live process, and this is our cloud-based computing platform that'll show the status of every one of the fermenters and how far along in the process they are. So this is integration of your normal reporting, your actual live process, and then this throws it up to the cloud. So talk a little bit about service, training, support. All of our training classes, this is an example of one of them. We have them at various locations, and certainly the training can be done with your local system integrator. You guys there, you can do the training for your customer themselves. And then Siemens does have online training as well. So, I put this slide in here. It said the key to automation is to have a plan for the future of your distillery. The best distilleries, they need to come up with a master plan, so to say, before they start any automation projects. And that's one of the key things that they can utilize with one of our solution partners or system integrator partners to come up with the overall master plan for that facility. And then if they purchase automation equipment from an OEM and then other equipment from eBay or online sales or whatnot, everything can be fully integrated following that master plan that your system integrator put out for you. And then here's some of the basic training for the brewer is just the orientation to the system, recipe, batch management. Your alarm system, what happens if an alarm pops up? So your alarm system there, trending, reporting, and then your administration and diagnostic functions. That's your basic training for the brewers. So I can skip over here to case studies. We can look at some of them that have used this TIA portal brewing template. So, this is the Bent Distillery down by Dallas, Louisville, Texas. If you're one of our solution partners did this project here, and you can see this, even though this is a distillery here, this is using the same template that we've created. So they're able to utilize that fully in their process. And there's a couple quotes that the people at the distillery put out. Now here's another one done by another system integrator for the Founders Brewery in Detroit. This was my contribution to it, was to put the glass panel so you can see all the neat Siemens stuff behind the screen, but that's what I get paid for. But you look at the Hmi screen here, they're able to operate. This is their entire brewery here behind, and they can put this on a swing arm so that they can swing it over to whatever location they want to operate the best. And you can see a few other comments there. Now here's another example of brewery. This is the Lakefront Brewery in Milwaukee. It's implemented the TIA portal brewing template. And here's a picture of some of their screens. Obviously, this is a little bit different than the screens that you've seen from me, but this is exactly what is intended with the brewing template, is that I gave them the basis for how that everything can work, and then they took that and they customized it so that you can see their exact process here. And I thought this was a funny picture here because you see the control system running here. This was their old data recording system over here on the left side of the screen. So that's one. And you guys being system integrators, you're probably interested in this next page is what's behind the panel. So you have your like your obviously terminal blocks there. You have your IO here. You have your breakers and disconnects here. A couple power supplies, and this is the Siemens PLC. So the PLC is actually Ethernet network to the IO here, and then these are the IO cables going out to the field. And that's all I have for you today. And not sure if you have any questions, comments, but
so Ed, we had a couple questions here that popped up, and one of them I answered one, but I thought I'd just bring it up in case everyone didn't see it. And there was a question about the security aspects, the IT security, because if you're using mobile phones and iPads, could you maybe just talk a little bit about some of the kind of solutions you guys have seen as far as like maybe like VPN and firewall and that type of thing with the breweries?
Yeah, certainly. With that, that's a very common concern on everybody wants you to see things operating from somebody's cell phone or iPad. But Siemens has our Scalance line of products. That's our Scalance networking products that provide you with a VPN tunnel that can go directly into your system and provide you a secure VPN into the system, and keeps all the people that you don't want to have access to the system out.
Awesome, thanks, Ed. The other question, just to make sure that everybody's on the same page, and I know I've been asked quite a bit when I've personally called on some breweries and integrators who are going after breweries, is the software. So the brewing template that we have, what is there a cost associated with the template? How does that work? Obviously, there's a hardware piece of it, but what about the software piece?
No, that's a good question there. Yeah, on the software piece, on the brewing distilling template that I showed here today, there's no cost to that. You can get just talk to your local Siemens person or your local Siemens distributor. There's my name up on the screen here, and they can get in contact with me, and I'll get you out the template there, the brewing template. And then you're now fully able to utilize everything. It works right out of the box. So you load up your TIA portal, WinCC, whichever type of WinCC you want, and you can fully simulate your brewery right there on your system. It can be done as easy as tomorrow, and and then start working with it and customize your solution.
And I guess last question from our side that I've seen a lot is what about breweries? Maybe some slightly larger, maybe not quite the smallest ones, but slightly larger ones that already have maybe an automation system in place or some pieces of automation. Is it possible with TI Portal and with some of the hardware to integrate in existing hardware that a brewery might already have? Yeah,
certainly. That's a large question because nearly all of them do have some sort of automation there, and we have large number of links to either the controllers that are in place there. We can grab data out of that and use our recipe system and our controller based on whatever's installed there now, or you can remove that controller, put ours on top of it. So, or you can mix and match things too. So the HMI system, if it's a control system from one of the other manufacturers, you can easily link all of that data directly into the exact same system. If you're running, say, a brew house on the Siemens system and then a packaging line on another system, you can link all of that together onto the WinCC platform and provides a seamless view for your brewer.
Great, thanks, Ed. And I think that's all the questions that we have. There are questions. You've got Ed's information there as well. I just want to say personally, from a Siemens perspective, a big thank you to CSIA for having us today and allowing us to have this platform and take some time. And a big thanks to Jose and Sandra for setting this up and coordinating this with us. So a big thank you to you two for all that you do for us and for the industry.
Thank you, Ben, and thank you, Ed. This was an excellent presentation. Brewing is something very fun. You mentioned the Brewers Association event in Denver. This is where our association will have next year our conference. So we will have to find a way to include some of the great microbreweries that they are around in Denver. So I would also like to remind people that we have all these great events coming. They are in our events calendar. Please sign up as you did for this. Is a good investment in your continuous education. Be sure to bookmark these events in your calendar. And one last slide is we're here for you. Check us out on our website, on the exchange. And if you have questions, reach out to us. Happy to help. So one more time, thank you very much, Siemens. Thank you very much, Ed and Ben. And looking forward to our next event. Goodbye.